Hey guys, welcome to our weekly show. My name is Charlie.
I'm Ronnie.
And we figured what we would do is we would kind of after the workout, we would go over the leaderboard with you guys, we'd go over the workout, kind of what we thought, maybe what we can see coming in for the next week's workout, see if there's some surprises on the leaderboard. But what we thought we'd do before that is we would just go over some of the new rule changes. A lot of you had some questions on regionals, not regionals, how people are making it, what are these sanctioned events. So what we have up on the board, these are the sanctioned events for 2019. All right, so CrossFit did away with the regionals. That doesn't exist no more. But you have 4 different ways now that you can get to the games. One of those ways is to win a sanctioned event. It takes 1 male, 1 female, and 1 team from each. There are online qualifiers. If you qualify, you want to go to that sanctioned event. You go, you win. So far we've had what?
We've had Dubai, Australia, Wadapalooza, Cape Town, and then Strength and Depth, which is in London.
Right. So we have 10 more left, which people will be able to qualify. Outside of that, we now are in the open. So there are a few ways there. There's no more regions. It goes by country, so there'll be national champions. So if you win your country, you get a direct bye into the games. Now, we're not going to get into the backfill spots because that gets complicated, but there is backfill spots and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
They're also going to take the top 20 from the Worldwide Open. So if you place in the top 20 in the Worldwide Open, you also get to go to the games. And then CrossFit's done something which is a little
sketchy,
weird. They're going to take, I would like to say 4 wild cards, but they're not really
It's
wild
4
cards.
out-large bids, which mean it's really up to CrossFit how they're going to decide where it goes. Hopefully it goes to people who are worthy of it, but that's something we got to wait for.
Right, so we'll see. So the rule book just states that it's their discretion who they're going to take. So that's your route to kind of get to the CrossFit Games. In some ways, there's even more advantage to get to the games now.
Yeah.
So instead of just qualifying for the Northeast Regional, you can keep on trying for any of these sanctioned events, online. So
Yeah.
for some of these bubble athletes, we have a few of them that maybe were a little upset. You actually have more of an opportunity
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, that was my argument from the beginning, is that there's actually, statistically more opportunity to make it to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see that with some of the winners in some of these events, because you strategically have to figure out which one you're going to go to. So not that maybe a sanctioned event will be a little bit easier, but you can't have big name athletes in every single one of these. You just can't make it to each one.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at the top 5 of some of the sanctioned events already, some of them you want to call it a no-name guy. It's not your Matt Fraser, it's not your Noah Olson every single time.
Right, and it just can't be.
No, because they can't go to every
You look at
single
some of the schedules here, we're loaded for sanctioned events in April and May, so these athletes cannot make it to all.
Literally 4 in April and 5 in May. So you have to pick one, really. I mean, if you do 2, we've already seen a couple of really high-end athletes go to 2 in the same month and not really carry out what they usually do.
Yeah.
Jessica Griffin, she just did not 2 sanctioned events, but she did that show with The Rock.
Yeah, the Titan
Fitness or something. So she did that, and then she just went to a
Actually, Sarah was the only one to compete in 3.
She did 3, right?
She did 3, and then she just won this last one that's here. So she actually found her way to get to the CrossFit Games now. The Open also stands as an overall ranking. Not too sure how that's really going to work as far as cuts and things go when they make the games, but it does stand as a ranking. So every athlete is still going to compete in the Open.
So every athlete needs to do it with some importance if they want to be highly ranked or in that first heat.
Yeah, especially if they don't win that national championship, because the national championship is the highest. That's what's taking
Matt
precedence.
Fraser is winning America, so.
Well, we think he still hasn't put a score in for this workout.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
So that's how you make your way into the games. And again, Ron and I are going to do a podcast probably later on in the week, and we'll talk about our feelings on people being able to have more of an opportunity or not, and kind of go over a little bit more what CrossFit's done. What you did notice this week with the announcements, I guess we can hit that up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the same anymore, right? So for some of you who thought you were going to turn on, you were going to see Castro, and you were going to see.
I thought we were going to see. I thought that was going to be the first recoming of Dave Castro.
I guess they did. I didn't.
There was no timing.
There's no time.
There was no clock. There was no. It was just.
Glassman's fired the entire staff, right? And his thought process is it's going to allow for people to step in and do it on their own. Well, It's not
going hot.
19.1. It was not really good. I think it's got a long way to go. There really was no fluid coverage of it. It wasn't even in English. You had to go on Facebook to find it someplace else so you could even know what was going on.
It wasn't too good of a first week. We'll just say.
And I think what most CrossFitters are missing, it was the build-up. In our little world, that anticipation was big. We'd get together, we'd listen to it. It might have been silly or whatever, but it was still something that kind of pumped you up for that workout. And that's gone.
Yeah.
So
For now, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. I think we'll get a little bit better, but we'll see. So that's your ways to get in. So let's hit 19.1. I think everybody in our gym did pretty good. We had some really good scores. What are your thoughts on 19.1?
It was pure capacity.
Yeah.
It was just, don't drop. If you really wanted to get a score that was at the higher end for an average CrossFitter or even a better average CrossFitter, you need to be unbroken on the wall balls, and you needed to keep a constant row pace. So the first time I did it myself on the row, I came out way too hot because you feel great going into the first few rounds, but it's very easy to gas out. So the second time we did it around, we started out slower, held that for the first 6-7 rounds, and then kind of just closed our eyes and ripped for the last two.
I mean, this really was just all mental. This one here, you don't have to drop that wall ball. You just have to find a steady pace on the row. A lot of people complain, but CrossFit's done workouts that have been couplets.
There's usually one a year that is quote unquote boring. It's just a couplet or a triplet that is just testing pure.
We've had 7 minutes of burpees. That was kind of terrible.
Yeah, burpees to target.
Yeah, that was brutal. So there's lots of them like that. Overall, I thought it was a good workout. It was
old school CrossFit.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fine. I thought the time domain was a few minutes a little too long. But what I do think you're going to see is I think you're going to see some different names on the leaderboard. This is a big person's workout. If you are tall and you are fit,
it's a
you
good
are going
combination.
to crush this workout.
See, I'm waiting for Brett Fikowski to post his score, and he hasn't yet. I'm pretty sure he might have got 700 reps.
He may have gotten. He maybe got 11. Maybe he finished 10 and got into 11.
If anyone's going to do it, it's him.
But I think Eleanor's going to post a really good score. Matt will post a really good score, obviously. But I think you're going to see some different names up here on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Which brings me to, I think you better get ready for these type of workouts here, guys. So Glassman has made a big overall deal about including the entire world into the games.
Yeah.
So he's made every national championship. As long as you do the workout RX, you're going to get a buy. You're going to get invites to the games. I do not see him, after doing all of this, making something where someone in, let's say, Egypt or someplace else that they physically can't do, and now they're not going to be represented. He didn't go through all this to have someone not
He didn't include every country for half the countries not to be able to participate.
So I don't think we're going to see something where there's going to be muscle-ups in the first part.
Well, I think it's going to be, we've discussed this throughout the week, if there is going to be muscle-up or a high-skill movement like that, it's going to be later in the workout, and you're going to have to almost earn yourself to that spot. You're going to have to. It's going to be something where 4 minutes to finish this part, 4 minutes to finish the next part, and then you'll earn yourself ring muscle ups or bar muscle ups, something like that.
Right, and the weight can be ascending in something along those lines. And I think that's where you'll get the other CrossFitters, the common names.
That's where people were like the Frasers, no Olsons, they'll separate themselves.
Right. The other thing to remember here is, as you're going to be looking at the leaderboard, you're going to see names, especially for this workout, that you don't know.
I've never
heard of some of these people before. And
Lazare Dukic, it has 411 reps.
I mean, that's just
411.
But he's also over 6 feet tall. So, I mean, again, this is a big person's workout. The women's side, you're going to see some more common names. I do know someone who's going to be in second place here, or in third place, actually. They just didn't post their score yet, but Annie is up here, Samantha's up here, Sarah's up here, so you're going to see those names running through.
Charlie's friend, whose name is not up here yet, is going to crush us in 19.2 this weekend, probably. If we go head to head with it.
Probably. So I do like it. I do think it opens it up a little bit. I do think for the household names, though, this is one of those ones that if they didn't score good, I don't know if they're going to come back from that.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, not the top 20 changes all the time. So in the world, it is very, very rare, I think it's only happened a few times, that people go back to back in the top 20.
Yeah, I forgot what the statistic was, but it wasn't often.
Yeah, it's not often, so if everybody just keeps on saying, well, they're always, they're a top out, that doesn't mean they're gonna be top 20 in the Open.
I think the sanctioned events is really where you're going to see the household names make it. I think that's going to be the ticket. And then you'll see your top 5, top 10 in the world. They're just going to finish in the Open top 20 because that's what they do. But you're going to see a lot of names. They're going to get into the games in a different way than we're used to.
And I think you're going to see a lot of new names up here.
Of course.
I do. And I definitely think with this format, and I definitely think with the way that I can kind of see the programming a little bit, we're going to see some different names. Because if it stays like this, you are not going to see every single name on this program.
That we're used to seeing.
You're not. You're just not, because the weights aren't going to be heavy. The skill movement, I don't think we're seeing handstand.
Like Alex Smith is the perfect example. There's not going to be a workout where it's 30 minute muscle ups where he can just crush it.
Yeah,
So it's going to be tough. Like he'll have to try to go either team or he'll have to try to finish second or third at a sanctioned event and pray the people that are ahead of him finished in the top 20 or won their national championship.
Honestly, I don't even know if he can place that high in a sanctioned event.
It sucks. I kind of like Alex Smith.
But again, it depends on which ones they're going to go to.
Yeah.
They're all over the place, and like we said, you can't possibly be in every place. So if you guys pay attention to the leaderboard, you're going to notice some different name changes up there, which is pretty cool. As we get ready for 19.2, which will come out on Thursday.
Any guesses for 19.2?
I think it's going to be a lightweight. I think we're going to see a barbell. I think we're not going to go back to the dumbbell immediately. So I'm going to say it's going to be something that's...
I think we might see thrusters. Even though we just did similar movement with wall balls, I think thrusters might find themselves in here.
I think we're going to have box jumps in there. I think you're going to have a burpee in there. And there might be a barbell. It's probably going to be a triplet, something like that. That's in there.
I hope the weight stays really.
And I think the weight's going to stay light. If it's going to go to what I think it's going to go, I think the weight's going to stay light. I think it's going to be something that's going to hurt you. I don't think we're going to see heavyweight. I don't think we're going to see a squat snatch. I don't think we're going to see anything very, very heavy in this.
Very heavy or very skilled.
I just don't see it.
Movement.
I just don't see it. I don't think the handstand walks, handstand push-ups. They may come back in, but there was such controversy with all the taping and all that stuff.
My boy that was messed up, bro.
I think that's going to change.
But Brooke Wells is really good at handstand push-ups. So.
She was pretty good. The video she actually had out was pretty funny.
Oh, and she was that's pretty good.
This week, but she is one of those athletes too that I guess she could finish top 20 in the world.
Yeah, she's going to be someone that I keep looking for because she has to get to the game. She's too good not to. But it's going to be interesting to see how she gets it.
Yeah, whether she's just going to be top 20. So the leaderboard for the World Wide Open and then the national leaderboard are two things to keep on watching. Plus you have your age brackets for all your masters. That is a little bit different. So with the masters this year, they're still taking the same number that goes to the qualifying round. However, the leaderboard resets, which it never did. So it doesn't matter if I come in 150th or whatever it may be. We're all going to start from zero.
Clean slate.
Qualifier.
Clean slate in the qualifier.
So that is a little bit different, and they're only taking 15.
Yeah.
Okay, and there is a difference with the teams. Teams now can be super teams.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
But you can't qualify to the Open anymore.
You can't qualify through the Open. You can only qualify through a sanctioned event. So that's the other thing too. So your gym could be putting teams together from anybody and try these online qualifiers.
Yeah.
Now listen, if you qualify and you can't afford to go to some of these places, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But they're still giving you the opportunity to.
The opportunity's there. It's just if you can put stuff together and set it up.
So overall, I think we had a good time doing it. I think the community had a good time doing it. The Open is definitely down this year. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the week, maybe.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to, at least the first week's going to pass through so we can get the real numbers of what the registration is. But the last time I checked, there wasn't even 200,000 then.
Yeah, there's not. I think total, I think it's down about 100,000 in total.
That's crazy.
But we'll see, and we'll have a little discussion on that. But good job, everybody, this week. Watch the leaderboard. We look forward to 19.2.